Today's episode of Darkness Radio is brought to you by HelloFresh. You've got New Year's goals, and HelloFresh is here to help you achieve them. Skip the grocery store and take control of your time and budget with delicious recipes delivered right to your door. Go to HelloFresh.com/Darkness21 and use the code Darkness21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. Take advantage right now to enjoy America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh. Do it today. Beginning to look a lot like the new year out there. Hey, it's a lot of snow, it's a lot of blow, it's a lot of looking like something out there. It's white, it's fluffy. I think I put my nose in it back in the 70s. It's a Cruiser, the Bruiser. We got Van Halen, we got Journey, we got Boston, we got the Rolling Stones coming up in the next block set. But I tell you what, in the meantime, we're going to do a little paranormal, supernatural news. But we need a co-host. We got the co-host with the most, the BCB, the Big Cuddly Bear. It's Beer City Bruiser. How you doing, Bruiser?
I am doing fantastic, Cruiser. I am happier than a pig in poo.
Oh, like Winnie the Pooh? Like Piglet finally got a little?
Well, a pig in shit, but...
Oh, okay. All right.
I was trying to be PG.
Oh, you were? Well, I screwed that up.
PG, you can't say the S word, can't you? That is PG nowadays.
It is PG. Now, well, you know, the Winnie the Pooh horror movie will be out soon.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Yeah. That's going to be so good.
Yeah, so that's going to blow that all to hell.
Yeah, they made a Sleeping Beauty one too now, I guess. It's coming out. Sleeping Beauty horror movie.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of those classic tales are becoming, was that free use, I think, right? Free media?
Yes, it goes it goes to public use, and
yes.
Now we all can do whatever we want with them. Yeah.
I can't wait to watch Winnie the Pooh just eat Piglet like a good old ham and bacon sandwich. Watch Tigger do a bunch of blow and then hop all over the place.
But will he be honey glazed? That's what I want to know. Will he take the pot?
You know he will. It's Winnie the Pooh.
Will he take some honey out of the honey pot, slather Piglet with it, and then put him on a spit? That's what we want to. That's what we really want to know. Will they pee all over Disney? So
is this going to be Timothy Robbins' nightmares? Because wasn't Winnie the Pooh like his dreams, his imaginary friend with his stuffed animals? Now is this his nightmare?
You mean Christopher Robin?
Christopher Robbins, yeah. Why'd I say Timothy Robbins? I don't know.
Because you're looking at me, evidently. I don't know. This might be Christopher Robin's nightmare. Sure.
Yeah. That'll be great to see. I can't wait. I'm truly excited. I'm truly excited for that. I'm truly excited for Cocaine Bear. Give me all the bad B movies.
You know what comes out this week?
What?
That goddamn robot AI movie, Megan.
I'm terrified, but I know I'm going to end up watching it.
Yeah. I know I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
That is my worst fear come true.
And it's going to happen with all the AI stories that we cover. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
This isn't a movie. This is a what is that? It's not a spoiler.
It's an exercise in terror is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. It's we do have a couple of stories today about that exercise in terror. They're actually real life exercises in terror that are going on around you right now.
Yeah. See, like, let's just leave the AI alone. Let's just leave it alone. We said last week, Stephen Hawking predicted it. This movie's has proven it. Just leave it alone.
No, we can't turn back. As much as yesterday's True Crime Tuesday and Bill Cody Neal would say, turn back. We can't turn back. We've already unleashed the genie. The genie's out of the bottle. And now, folks, you get to deal with it one way or another. It's time to load up the ammunition and get ready for the machines.
Yeah, just be ready.
Just be ready. I know you may say, well, Tim, you're being so paranoid. I'm not being paranoid. You just watch.
No, we're being careful is what we're being.
I may be.
That's why I haven't done any of those AI painting things. Nope, don't care. Don't want to do it.
I have a friend who's gone 2 feet in on that deal.
Really?
Yeah, this person is an artist and has decided they want to try the AI deal.
Oh, why?
Because they've worked in different mediums and they've been very successful in it. And they decided, you know what, we're going to try. We're going to try the AI deal because they're fascinated by it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I said, I can't recoup your soul.
Yeah. And all your information that you're giving AI.
Well, there's one format that is set up specifically for artists.
Okay.
And I don't think it works much like, like the ones on your phone, like the apps that are giving your information to Russia or China or anything like that. But,
yeah, but still AI is learning about you and it'll target you and kill you.
Yeah. Well, there's that. Yeah. There's that.
It'll just be an artistic way with how it does it.
Sure. Yeah. It'll look pretty.
But it'll use your blood as paint.
We did have
your spleen as a brush.
True. Well, you put it that way. It sounds so neat. We did have the one story about the all AI comic that's out there, which looks amazing. And I did actually see some pictures online of, believe it or not, Disney portraits that were done by AI, but they were freakishly horrific.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like scenes from different Disney movies, but then it would have a horror twist to it.
Well, you got to think a lot of those Disney movies are based on really old stories that they're trying to tell a moral of the story. So it's really freaky until you get if you read the non-Disney version of some of these stories, they are terrifying.
Yeah,
because they're meant to scare you as a kid, so you didn't do whatever it was they were trying to teach you not to do.
True, and they do have a bit of a Hans Christian Andersen type horror type feel to them. So why not, flesh them out in AI and make them completely horrific?
At least they're not doing Grimm's fairy tales. Those are terrifying too.
Yeah, that would be even more terrifying. Yeah,
I would
throw that out there, and then you just got nightmare fuel for weeks. On today's Supernatural News, kids, boy, do we have stories. UFOs. That'll start off our program. Bruiser, I got hit like a week or so ago with this UFO video that everybody was talking about on the Las Vegas Strip. We're going to strip that down today. More than likely a weather phenomenon.
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk about that today. There's an anniversary, a famous anniversary coming up, but nobody's talking about it.
Really?
Yeah. That's coming up today. AI is back in the news. And by the way, it's trying to slash your tires and it's trying to take over your homes. We'll tell you about that. That's coming up today.
There's no such thing as a smart home.
No, it's never that smart. You're right. We'll go over the Unexplained Mysteries Top 10 Paranormal Stories of 2022. There's some interesting ones in there, so we'll recap 2022 and say goodbye to it today. We'll also look forward to 2023. Yes, the Jerusalem Review has come up with Nostradamus's predictions of 2023. He's still making predictions, even though he's been in the ground.
How long has his predictions go? Because he never really gave dates with his predictions.
No, he didn't.
Predictions.
These quatrains can be bent for anything, really. He's been in the ground, what now, 500-600 years? Yeah. But he's still spinning out predictions for every single year. So we'll let you know about that.
If there's a relative of Nostradamus out there, like if somebody does this 23andMe or the Ancestry and you find out you're related to Nostradamus, there's a money-making opportunity for you.
There really is, yeah.
Because he's the Tupac of the Renaissance era.
He is, yeah. So it would be what? You'd call yourself Nos Junior? Yeah, kind of your rap name, I guess. And then we'll tell you how long we've been making New Year's resolutions for. Let's just put it this way. It's been a long time. And we'll wrap up the program telling you if you want to take a UFO vacation this year in 2023, where you can go. I know that sounds really bad the way I put it, but it's an honest to God. It's an honest to God help and tip. It's not me just telling you where to go. So we'll start it out today talking about the UFOs. Let's talk about this Las Vegas thing. TikTok was all the rage right between Christmas and New Year's with this UFO story over Las Vegas and the Strip. And if you saw the video at all, they had a couple different TikTokers who had their phones and they were pointing them up to the sky and said, look at this UFO. And they were pointing right up towards a cloud. Now, there was a cloud with a couple of different lights. Oh. And they said, this thing isn't moving. Look at it. It isn't moving. And I watched a couple of different TikTokers with the exact same UFO. And people were telling me, Tim, look at this thing. It's got to be a UFO. Look at it.
Yeah.
And it was pretty convincing. I'll give it that. I couldn't debunk it at first. Okay.
But now you think you did.
Well, I don't think I did. It turns out that it's LA's own KTLA that has a story out there. Okay. They say 'twas 2 nights before Christmas, and up and down the Las Vegas Strip, people looked up and they thought they saw a spaceship. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert, it was probably just a weather phenomenon, they're saying, though a rare one for the Las Vegas Valley. Workers at the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club on Sammy Davis Jr. Drive. That's such a neat drive name, isn't it?
It is.
That's right, babe.
Fits in that there's a strip club on there.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of apropos. Posted the first videos of the phenomenon early on the morning of Friday, December 23rd. From the parking lot, they filmed what appeared to be groups of red and white lights shining in the clouds. Honestly, this is really strange. A voice can be heard remarking of the lights. I mean, we're here every night. I've never seen anything like this. There's a person either with a lot of money or a lot of debt. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
The people recording the event speculated that it was a UFO hovering above the club, and they weren't alone. KTLA sister station, KLAS, hey, K-Las for K-Las Vegas.
Hey.
Number 1 in the Las Vegas Valley. Heard from a worker at a nearby marijuana growing business, so they're reliable, who also saw
when you grow it, you don't smoke it as much.
That's right. Never get high on your own supply.
Nope.
That's Ice-T's number one edict. They heard from a worker at a nearby marijuana growing business who also saw the lights, claiming they stayed in place for more than an hour.
Oh,
so these things, yeah. Now they didn't move. Okay, so that's unusual.
If it was a UFO, you think they were just gambling? And they're like, oh,
yeah,
let's go down to the casino.
They parked the ship. They wanted to go to the strip club. They wanted to get, they wanted to get their chips in. They wanted to.
Is the ship in cloak? Yes, sir. Okay, everyone got their chips. Let's go Mandalay Bay.
Then they wanted to go to the dispensary and get some edibles, and then they were going to take off. But the night was relatively cool with low clouds in the sky, leading to speculation that it was just reflections from the lights along the Las Vegas Strip. It's probably correct, experts suggest, though it only happens during very specific weather events.
Okay.
A meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Las Vegas told KLAS that since the lights and clouds did not appear to move and the temperature in the clouds was cold enough, there's a good chance what people saw this night was a phenomenon known as light pillars.
Okay. I've heard of that.
Okay. According to one National Weather Service, light pillars are described as the following. Long pillars of multicolored light streaking the sky seem like the perfect backdrop for impending alien invasion, but in reality, light pillars are a common effect that can be found all around the world. They do come from above, not extraterrestrials, but tiny crystals of ice hanging in the atmosphere. Ice is very thin, shaped like plates with hexagonal faces. When ice drifts down through the air, it falls close to horizontally. At the top and bottom are the faces with more area. Ice is very reflective, so when light hits those wider faces, it bounces around and reflects off of more ice crystals. That means we get these vertically stacked mirrors floating in the atmosphere. The light hitting it gets reflected up and up or down and down, depending on the source, and becomes a radiant column in the sky. Light can come from the sun, moon, cities, street lights, any strong light source. Other people online have even matched up the lights to some of the large hotel casinos along the strip. The red lights could be from Resorts World, it says, and the other white lights could be from the Wynn, Encore, Strat, and Palace Station. So there you go.
And if you need lights in the sky, Vegas is the place to have it. I mean, I think the pandemic was the first time I've ever seen pictures of Vegas dark.
Yes.
You know, it's 24/7 lights out there. You don't even know what time of day it is when you're walking on the strip because there's so many lights.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that this thing sat stationary for an hour.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell you how many times I get people here in Minnesota that contact me and say, and they're in the Shakopee area, that say, "Oh my God, Tim, look at these lights up in the sky.
Yeah.
This has to be unusual." And I say, "No, it's just the casino." It's the Mdewakan Sioux. You know, they're just trying to get you to come down and play a few games.
And it makes sense. Like the theory that they said about these glass, you know, the ice crystals and stuff, that they reflect the lights of Vegas because Vegas intentionally aims their lights up so that you can see it when you're flying in. You know what I mean? And that when you're walking, you can look up and you can kind of see the glow of where you want to go and stuff. In fact, doesn't the Luxor have a beam of light like shooting straight up into the sky from the pyramid?
They do, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So would it be cool if it was a UFO? Yeah. But I'm leaning towards the weather. Yeah. The weatherman on this one. Yeah.
And, you know, it takes a moment to kind of settle down and look at all possibilities.
Yeah.
You know, that's for sure. I mean, that's one of the things where you have to go, okay, wait a minute. The other thing too is, you know, it does throw you off because there are so many anomalies that happen in that area.
Yeah.
You know, you do have honest to God UFO clouds. On a clear day, you can see forever in Vegas or you can see forever in Nevada, and there will be one cloud in the sky, and you can travel from Vegas and go north towards Goldfield, and you'll have one cloud that will follow your vehicle.
Okay.
And I've had it happen.
Yeah.
And it's about the size of a saucer.
And I bet you there is a lot of activity out there because it's a good way to camouflage themselves with all the lights and stuff like that.
And you're driving right past Area 51.
Yeah.
And this little cloud the size of a saucer is following you.
Yeah.
And it's perfect camouflage. And you're starting to get weirded out, you know, and meanwhile you're passing little brothel after little brothel and little gas station after little gas station. And you say to yourself, okay, I'm trying not to think about this little cloud that's off to my right, and it's following me for, half an hour and a half.
See, but that means it's moving. This stayed stationary for an hour. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think they're going to stay stationary for an hour. They're going to move.
Right. Exactly. Right.
You know, had it been they recorded it, and then 5 minutes later it was over the Sapphire, then 5 minutes later it was over the Wind, 5 minutes later it was over the Stratosphere, you know what I mean? Then it's like, okay, you guys have something because now it's moving from location to location.
You got it. So if it would have, exactly as you said, had it appeared for 5 minutes and sat there and then moved and been over another location for 5 minutes and then moved,
right?
Then you got something. But this
especially if these things are coming down to do research, they're not going to sit over a place for an hour. They're going to learn a lot, assuming their technology is as advanced as it is. They don't need an hour to learn about the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, unless they wanted an hour to sit above the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club.
We have many singles.
My thing is you have to think strategically too. If you're from another planet, I wouldn't want to sit anywhere for more than 5 minutes.
Oh no, you don't know what's going to happen to you. You get especially if you're not trying to be discovered.
Right, exactly. I mean, they may be aware that we can see them through clouds, but that also means that we could launch something at them as well. So I don't think they're going to sit there for more than 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, so. I'm agreeing with the weather phenomenon.
Yeah, exactly. There's a story out of South Carolina that a reluctant witness is reporting a 1966 sighting of pulsating multicolored UFOs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Singular Fortean Society was contacted in September of 2022 by a man regarding a pulsating multicolored UFO he had reportedly seen as a teenager in Aiken, South Carolina. Although the witness did provide his name, he will be kept anonymous since no permission to use it was given. According to the submitted report, the man witnessed the unusual object during the summer of 1966 when he was 14 years old. The man said that he was outside looking at the sky with a small telescope when he noticed a totally silent, solid UFO the size of the full moon directly above him at about 1,000 feet, although a small wobble left to right prevented him from focusing on it. As he watched, the actual skin of the object pulsated with 4 different colors and reflected off the outside rim of the craft each time it came on. The experience lasted an undisclosed amount of time before the object vanished to the west at tremendous speed in about 1 second to the horizon. While he did mention other family witnesses being present, no details were given on the relationship or reactions to this phenomenon. He claimed to have reported the sighting to the local Army radar station and said he was sent a large questionnaire from Project Blue Book. Man, if he would have only held on to that deal. It says he only partially filled it out before throwing it away out of boredom.
Oh, if he would have held on to that, that's worth money nowadays, especially with it coming of the public eye and they did the documentary and everything.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. If not worth money, it would have just been a heck of a thing to show the American public. Yeah,
exactly. Hey, look.
Yeah.
I love how he said it's boring.
Yeah, it was just a boring questionnaire. The encounter...
What do you expect it to be?
Yeah. It isn't going to be exciting. So, did they come out and say anything? Did they,
I've never gone into a government building or gotten something from the government and expected it to be super exciting.
Yes.
Hey, I got to renew my license today. I can't wait to do this party.
Yeah. Can't wait to get this driver's license, boy. Woo! Can't wait to take the eye test.
If the government's sending me a questionnaire, I'm expecting it to be boring.
Yeah. They're not the most creative folks on the planet, that's for sure. The encounter appears to have had a substantial impact on the man, since he said, "I still think about it every day of my life, even over 50 years later." Well, that's substantial. He insisted that he is a very professional and trustworthy person who worked at the nearby nuclear weapons Savannah River plant for 38 years in a very high-level capacity directly tied to environmental compliance, and that he was more than willing to do lie detector tests, hypnosis, or whatever to help document his experience. I have my own sane theory about people who witness UFOs like this close up, especially as it deals with children worldwide about this age who have witnessed UFO activity. So many of them, you have to question why, he added. However, the man seemed reluctant to discuss things further during a brief series of correspondence with investigator Tobias Wayland. I don't know why I stuttered over Tobias Wayland. Tobias replied to the man's email in an attempt to interview him over the phone regarding his experience, but was told that he preferred email until a more sustainable communication relationship is developed and deemed worthy by both of us. Interesting.
So he wants to remain anonymous, basically, is what it is.
I think so.
He wants to make sure he doesn't get in any trouble and there's no fallback on him.
Right. The man then reiterated his credentials, I think because he wants to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a loony.
Right. He doesn't want to be thrown in the loony bin, so to speak. To help you better understand who you're dealing with, I was the Environmental Compliance Authority at one of the nation's USA's largest environmental facilities located at the Savannah River site in Aiken, South Carolina, until retiring in 2009. When and if the time comes, I can easily provide org charts or whatever else is necessary to validate my career information, he said. According to the Office of Environmental Management, the Savannah River site, or SRS, a 310 square mile site in Aiken, South Carolina, focused on the production of plutonium and tritium for use in the manufacture of nuclear weapons from its inception in the early 1950s until the end of the Cold War. In 1992, the focus at SRS turned to environmental cleanup, nuclear materials management, and the research and developmental activities. Following that reiteration, he then stated, "I will also have to perform checks on your organization." Ooh, there's turning the tables.
Yeah, he is. He's like, "I'm going to check on you now."
Yep, and we'll be asking questions as well. Yeah, so you guys could be loony bins as well. Any checks performed by the man remain unknown, and no questions were asked during his correspondence with Tobias. Despite his reluctance to discuss the experience further, he did add another dimension to his previous testimony. He went on to say this: the most notable difference I can tell in the craft to all other UFO reports I've seen until this singular 40 in Society article I recently read was how the pulsating lights seem to be a living, breathing part of the craft itself. He went on to say, he also said, more to come if interested, and will gladly answer any and all questions that are within reason. Interesting.
I like that it was living and breathing with the lights. That's a whole new twist on, a UFO.
Yeah.
You don't hear that.
Yeah.
Where it looked like a living thing.
Yeah. Another witness comes forward. This one being a Boeing 747 pilot.
For the same lights that this guy saw?
No, not the same lights.
Okay, this is a different incident. Okay.
Yeah, a different incident, different UFOs. But he's saying he's seen UFOs defying all known tech, and says he's captured a cigar-shaped object on camera.
Ooh.
Yeah. A Boeing 747 captain with some 9,500 hours of flight time at controls has told of some bizarre encounters with UFOs while taking to the skies. Christian von Heist explained that he has witnessed objects which appear to exceed all known technology, as they appeared to hit hypersonic speeds of up to 23,000 miles per hour.
Wow,
yeah,
that's fast.
That is fast. The 39-year-old from the Netherlands is a respected airman and an award-winning aerial photographer, and yet he has seen things he cannot explain. UFOs are traditionally a highly stigmatized topic, often being dismissed offhand as nothing beyond conspiracy theories or something for the world of cranks. World of Cranks is a great band name, by the way.
It is. Yeah. I was going to say, that's the name of the new band that we're joining.
That's right. But in recent years, the conversation has moved with even the U.S. government confessing that there are things in the sky which they have yet cannot and will not publicly identify. The topic even has a new name, UAP, which we've discussed many times, unidentified aerial phenomenon. And with former U.S. military pilots coming forward to tell about their own unexplained experiences, that piqued the interest of Christian. I realized that what they described sounded very much like some of the strange things I've seen years before, the pilot told The Sun Online. I always thought it was some military stuff I had seen, but now it was possibly something else entirely that even stunned some of the best U.S. military pilots on record. This is what Christian had to say. Christian has been flying for 20 years, starting out as a champion aerobatics pilot before moving on to commercial planes. He has close to 9,500 total flight hours, and 6,000 of them being on the Boeing 747, one of the world's largest and most popular aircraft. And while he says some 99% of the weird stuff he sees in the skies can be dismissed, I like this guy already because
I do too.
Skeptical. There are still a handful of sightings which for him defy explanation. Christian emphasized that as a pilot, he is trained to spot things in the sky, with his main objective when he's at the controls being to keep his plane safe. If I see something that catches my eye, immediately I want to know if it is another airplane, something weather-related, military, or anything else that might jeopardize my flight. Anything else is secondary, he told The Sun. That is also why airplane pilots are credible, trained observers. We don't search for UAP. We evaluate everything we see based on our thorough knowledge of aerial observations, meteorological experience, and wonder if anything has a direct influence on our flight path or aeroplane. And for Christian, one of his most compelling and strange sightings was over Greece, as he was flying near USS Theodore Roosevelt aircraft carrier and her strike group. He said he was flying a Fokker 50. That's a great band name too, by the way. Fokker 50 at the time, and witnessed a bright light appearing at an extremely high altitude, moving at an approximate speed of up to Mach 30 or 23,000 miles an hour.
Wow.
That's going quick.
That is. That's moving real fast.
Yeah. No known physics can describe what that light or thing did, for as far as I know. He says it left no trail or anything like that, just instant speed and poof, gone, said Christian. He is unsure if his sighting was connected with a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier down below, which was carrying out missions linked to the Iraq War in September of 2005. Other unexplained encounters include a falling light moving very fast as it plunged towards the ground with no information on the object from air traffic control in July of 2005 as he flew over Germany. And another saw his Boeing 737 encounter a ball of white light flying over the Adriatic Sea in February of 2009. The light fell towards the sea before disappearing beneath the surface without a splash. Interesting.
Yeah.
Christian also shared with The Sun what appears to be a cigar-shaped object that he took in January of 2010, with his encounter with the object lasting over an hour. He was flying from Amsterdam to Malaga at 41,000 feet when they spotted the shape around 100 nautical miles ahead of them. Air traffic control told them there was no other aircraft in the area at the time. The object appeared to be large and stationary, hanging in the sky and blocking out part of the sun. It was flying much higher than commercial air traffic, and military air traffic control denied that there was any activity in the area. Christian snapped a picture, which, after being enhanced by an AI system, appeared to show a black shape hanging in the sky. The photo was being analyzed by IPACO, which is run by the French space agency UFO investigation group GEIPAN, or GEIPAN. Christian does not have a theory on what these objects may be, but he's hopeful that one day there will be an explanation. And he hopes the stigma around UFO discussions will continue to break down. He said even rational explanations of some of the sightings might help other pilots to identify some spectacular but mundane things they see from above. He went on to tell The Sun, we might actually stumble upon a rare and new atmospheric phenomena, but the only way we can be sure is to collect data and analyze it without bias. Christian said he used to disregard his own sightings, fearing they could be too far-fetched for me to seriously contemplate. Every once in a while, the topic comes up among colleagues, though I rarely start the conversation myself, he said. Some of my colleagues have seen some truly extraordinary things during their career, but they only discussed it with me once they felt that they wouldn't be ridiculed. He went on to say, personally, I'm not afraid to talk about this topic as I try to steer away from speculating about the origins or nature of what it could be. I just want to know that what it is I've witnessed, and if it is of any concern for the safety of my flight. Christian added, it was until somewhere in the 1800s that the idea of rocks falling from the sky was regarded as absurd and in the realm of fantasy. But today they are commonly known as meteorites and part of nature. Getting rid of the stigma is a process that takes time, but we're getting there.
I really like this guy because he's qualified to make these assumptions because he's been trained. And it also brings up that other question I've been asking for a while is, I would love for a book to be published or a podcast to happen where they talk to airline pilots about what they've seen. Because like he said, 99% of what he sees, he can debunk, right. But there's that small percentage that he can't debunk. And these guys are trained to look around the horizon and notice things, like he said. And it's very curious as he brings up, he makes me question, like, I want to hear other airline pilots. I want to hear what they say, what they've all experienced and what's been chalked up as, weather phenomena or just, oh, this was that. And what's been chalked up as, oh, no, yeah, I've seen, UFOs. I've seen this. Right. It's very curious because he said it in there. He's trained to look for her hazards for his aircraft. Yep. And
that's the first thing he's looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not up there looking for UFOs. He's up there looking like, okay, what could be a potential hazard for my plane?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Let's move on. Last story before we go to break. A woman claims she can teach quantum jumping timelines. We were talking, I believe it was it this week or last week, about Quantum Leap? We were talking about the fact
it was yesterday
that Mrs. Bruiser hasn't seen Quantum Leap, or she's not all that into Quantum Leap. There's a woman now who's teaching quantum jumping timelines. So I think, if anything, you can take Mrs. Bruiser to this woman and actually have her experience it for herself.
Experience the Quantum Leap guy leaping into her body.
Well, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking her leaping into others so she would know exactly what you're talking about.
Gotcha. But then that wouldn't explain how you feel being the person that's getting leapt into?
Well, here's the spoiler alert. Before we go any further, we're going to read the story. It's not how it works on the TV show. So let's not even start speculating right now.
Okay.
We're going to find out in the story how this whole thing works.
Gotcha.
Right. The psychic medium and intuitive tarot reader makes the bold assertion that she can teach people to quantum jump timelines from their own shower.
Now, do I have to be in the shower?
Well, I don't know.
I don't mind, but I don't want to leap naked.
Let's find out.
That'd be kind of creepy to people if I just saw someone show up naked in their living room. Like, hey.
Well, it'd be a Terminator type of thing, but you know. She says the first thing to do is set aside some uninterrupted time. I'll get it eventually, to try it. So make sure no kids or phones are going to interrupt. Before stepping into the shower, she says to recite the following. Upon the completion of the shower, I will be stepping into my most abundant timeline that brings me or makes me. Okay.
All
so
right.
why do you have to do it in the shower? Why can't you just lay in bed and do this?
Yeah.
I don't know. And end with whatever you want to be manifesting into your timeline. Okay, I get it. She then instructs you to shower as usual, but while soaping and lathering to clearly focus your mind on, I get why you're showering, because it puts you into a Zen space where you clear your mind.
Okay, because you're just focused on cleaning yourself.
Right.
Gotcha.
She then instructs you to shower as usual, but while soaping and lathering to clearly focus your mind on removing all blocks, all energies, all people, all places, all organizations, all fillings, and all self-sabotaging energies that can hold you back from those manifestations. She suggests imagining all those blocks as the soap running down the drain far off your body. Once all the soap is gone, turn the water as cold as possible. This just sounds like a cruel prank.
Yeah, it does.
Before you step into the cold shower of water, you should set your intention that the cold shock of water will shock your system and shock you into the new timeline. Following along so far?
I'm following along, but I have a couple questions, but I'll wait.
Okay, hold on here. I'm going to take a cold drink of water. When you step into the water, you stay there and take about 8 to 10 conscious breaths where you are composed and calm and comfortable with the discomfortable cold. I thought you moved from North Carolina to avoid cold.
I did. Now she wants me to get back in the cold.
I guess. When the shock goes away, you will know you are in this new timeline. When you cut the water off and prepare to step out of the shower, imagine a portal which you will then walk through. As you are drying and getting dressed, you are now the embodiment of your new manifestation.
So what if I want to go back to the timeline I was? Do I have to, like, what if I step out of the shower? I don't like the timeline I'm in. Do I have to retake another shower?
You got it. You rinse and repeat. I kind of call bullshit on this one.
I do too.
Just saying. In physics, a quantum jump is defined as an abrupt transition of an electron, atom, or molecule from one quantum state to another. And a quantum state is a mathematical entity that provides a probability distribution from the outcomes of each possible measurement on a system. Studying these particle interactions requires a great deal of equipment, and the most widely known of, which is what, Bruiser? That big equipment that they use to move around atoms and stuff would be the CERN Hadron, super collider in Switzerland. However, there's nearly equally impressive electron colliders located in Virginia. Jefferson Laboratories also houses the world's largest liquid helium refrigerator, which is used to remove electrical resistance by supercooling the temperature to minus 452.5 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jeez.
Yeah. Suffice to say, these things cannot be done in your home shower.
That's a really cold shower.
Yeah, it is. I think you'd freeze. It also can't hurt to try a cold shower spell to manifest your intentions, but probably stop short of buying a 7 CD set on the subject. Even the award-winning sci-fi classic original Quantum Leap on Blu-ray will give you 97 episodes on a mere 18 discs for about a third of the price. It can't hurt to try it, but Will it work?
I don't think it will. How do you know? Because how do you know you're in this new timeline? There's no factor. You can't prove her right or wrong because there's no factor to show you're in this new timeline.
Exactly.
It's not like you get out and your cupboards, instead of being white, are now brown. You know what I mean? It's not like you get out and all of a sudden, because with Quantum Leap, when he leapt, he knew he was in a new timeline because when he woke up, something was happening to him.
Right. And yeah, exactly. Or he had jumped into a body or he was in a new situation. You're just getting out of your shower. It's the same old shower.
Yeah.
But if your kids are like Ewoks or something, then you know that something's
what if I
changed.
get out and everyone's got a third head? I don't like that. Do I have to do the shower again? Am I constantly just taking cold showers till I go get back home?
I guess so. I don't know. Maybe that's what happens. I have no idea.
So many questions.
I have no idea. Folks, when we come back, boy, have we got stories for you. It turns out that AI is not only slashing your tires, but they're also sneaking up on you at your home and looking in on all of your activities.
Nightmare fuel.
It's about to get creepy, folks. Also, we'll review the top 10 paranormal stories of 2022, according to Unexplained Mysteries. And we'll tell you about a cute little UFO getaway for 2023 if you decide you want to take a vacation. It's all coming up next here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm Tim Dennis. Right over there is the Beer City Bruiser. And we've got supernatural news on a Wednesday. Real quick before we jump into stories, we record this a day before.
Yes.
On a Tuesday. So we don't exactly have the latest news on this. But for those of you who are watching Monday Night Football, an absolutely devastating thing happened during the Bills-Bengals game. We want to send out our thoughts and prayers to Damar, safety for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, Bruiser, I don't know any other way to put this other than there's no sport on this earth that you can play, I think, that's worth your life.
No. No.
And the hit, if you saw it before it was either pulled offline or whether you were watching live, didn't seem like an unusual hit. T. Higgins caught the ball. He turned upfield, put his head down to get some extra yardage, and ran smack dab into Damar's chest.
It was a clean hit, clean tackle.
Clean hit, clean tackle. Damar took him to the ground, rolled over on top of him, popped right back up. And when he popped right back up, he put his hand out, and then he fell straight backwards. Yeah,
it was very scary. When he popped up, you're like, okay, that was a good hit. He popped up, but when he fell, it was okay. Something's wrong. Because normally when a football player gets injured, he'll go to a knee or he'll crumple. It looked like everything was taken out of him, and his body just fell. It just, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Like his life force was taken, and it was just a shell, and he just collapsed.
Yeah.
And it was very scary to see live.
It was like his soul left his body. That's the only thing I could describe it as. And when you saw the look of shock on the players' faces as they were gathering around, as they were praying, as they were supporting each other, you could tell they saw something they had never seen before.
They showed a shot of Joe Burrows and Josh Allen together. They were the two quarterbacks it was the Bills quarterback and the Bengals quarterback. And Josh Allen had his hands over his mouth, but you could clearly see he was going, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah. Yep.
And both were crying, and these are football players. There's an image of a Bills player, and I was telling Mrs. Bruiser this because we watch it live. there was one of the linemen, who's a 320 some pound lineman, and he just collapsed onto his knees, tears running down his face, hating the turf. And it's like, that's a powerful image to show how this is affecting that team.
Yeah.
Because he was a young man, 24 years old. It wasn't like it was a hit where you're like, oh, it was a normal routine play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just the way he collapsed and the concern of everyone's face, because like Higgins got up, saw him fall and turned around, was like, whoa,
Yep.
And just, it was sad. And like you said, our thoughts and prayers go out to him, him and his family, because his mother was in the stands when it happened, and no parent should have to watch their child do that.
I can't imagine being a parent. You're in the stands and you have to come down from the stands and see your baby boy laying there, getting CPR done to him, not knowing whether he's alive or dead. And then having to ride in the ambulance with him and go to the hospital. And now you're dealing with life or death over a game, a game that your son loves more than anything, but it's not supposed to be life or death.
No,
it's a game.
It is. It's supposed to be having fun. It's the time of year where everyone's excited because who's going to make the playoffs, who's not. The Bills and Bengals, in fact, were competing for number one in the AFC. And it's like this happening, you kind of realize life is short and life can be taken away from you just like that. And our best wishes to him. Hopefully he pulls through. They worked on him for 10 minutes on the field with CPR to get his heart going again. And then they were breathing for him on the way to the hospital. And the latest news that you and I had is that they induced a coma to put a breathing tube in, and he's still in critical condition, but hopefully the kid pulls through. He's not only a phenomenal football player, but he's a phenomenal human being. He was raising charity for one of his give toys to the youth of where he's from. Yep. That can't provide for that and whatnot. And just you hear the kid's story. There's an article you were saying that came out about the kid's story, and it's just an amazing story about how he fought through all this adversary to get to the NFL, and then this. Yeah,
there was somebody who retweeted off of Bleacher Report, or they grabbed Bleacher Report grabbed the tweet. It was a retweet it was an article from his rookie year, and it talked about how just the adversity he had struggled through just to get to the NFL was astounding. Yeah. Growing up, his father Mario was arrested for dealing drugs, and he was doing whatever he could to get the family through their circumstances. They grew up in a very poor area of Pittsburgh. No excuse, but that's the circumstances they were dealt. So his father went away on a 10-year sentence. So it was just him and his mother. His mother decided at that point they had to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. His mother worked 2 or 3 jobs. She also started her own cleaning business. And she pulled DeMar out of public school, put him in private school, in a Catholic school. So he would go to school, he would come home, do his homework, go to the cleaning business every single day. That was his routine. And he knew he had to be better. He just knew he had to be better. And he had this dream of playing in the NFL. When he came out of high school, he had 5 offers, and they were all Division I schools, and some good ones too. Penn State, Ohio State. Decided to stay home at the University of Pittsburgh.
Pitt's a great school.
And Pitt is a great school. Yeah. He played through 2 years at Pitt with a sports hernia. Went to get an operation on the sports hernia, and they used mesh, which you never use mesh in a sports hernia. And the sports hernia continued to tear. So he played in excruciating pain every single game, couldn't understand why. He was talking to his coaches, didn't know why he was hurting. And finally went to go see, they referred him to the best surgeon they had or knew of in Philly, who specialized in sports hernias. And right on the webpage, he saw it. You never treat a sports hernia with mesh.
Yeah.
Now, he could have gone back to that original surgeon and sued him for everything he had once he was repaired and went to the NFL, but he didn't. He decided not to. So he had the sports hernia repaired, and the last 2 years at Pitt, he was an absolute monster. Even though he was an absolute monster as a safety, he got drafted 6th round to Buffalo Bills. Okay.
Yep.
Goes to Buffalo and immediately reaches back to his community and decides that he's going to do things for kids in the community who don't have fathers.
Yep.
The toy drive you mentioned, he started that toy drive. He started football camps for kids who want to be involved in sports. The reason he does this is more than half of the kids that he grew up with, more than half of his friends are dead.
Oh,
they're dead, Bruiser. They didn't live to see the age of 21.
Yeah.
Imagine that in your community, the people you grew up with were dead. Your friends are dead. The kid has had a rough life.
But he never complained. He just played hard.
He played hard. He played hard and he gave back, and he continues to give back. And he continues to cite his faith. He continues to cite God as the reason he's where he is.
Yep.
And the reason why he got out, the reason why he got to the NFL, the reason why he's blessed enough to play for the Buffalo Bills is that God was there with him. And it's I know I'm going on and on about this subject, but man, what a kid.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder why now.
Yeah. What's the plan?
Yeah, what's the plan? So Damar Hamlin. So if you got any extra prayers out there that you want to give an extra prayer or an extra thought for Damar Hamlin, because man, if anybody deserves your thoughts and prayers, it's Damar.
And also hug your loved ones a little tighter.
Yeah.
Tell people in your life that you love them. I try to do that as much as I can. I try to tell people that I care about, that I love them, because this proves you don't know when your time is. Not that he's passed away or anything, but just he was doing what he loved on a routine play, a routine tackle, and bam, this happened.
Yeah.
And it just makes you think, So like I said, hug your loved ones, keep them close.
Yep.
Tell the people in your life what you feel, that you love them, you care about them, because you never know.
That's right. You never do know. All right. So now let's lighten it up. Let's switch gears. The other reason you need to say your prayers and keep your loved ones tight, because those goddamn robots are coming for you. That's the only other thing I have for you. If you own an Acura, Bruiser, they're recalling. You don't?
No, but that's the car that I was driving. Remember when I told the story of the car trying to kill us?
Yes.
That's what it was.
It was an Acura, huh?
Yep.
Well, they're recalling TLX sedans because robots may have destroyed their tires. I got to thank our buddy Tom for forwarding this to us and giving us more nightmare fuel. There have been some large recalls in the past spanning millions of cars across several different models, but not every recall is some massive undertaking. In fact, in Acura's case, its latest recall is rather small, but it's still worth your attention. Acura's issued a recall for 19 examples of the 2022 Acura TLX sports sedan. All 19 recalled vehicles have the same build date, September 1st of 2022. According to the recall documents filed with the NHTSA, of the 19 vehicles in its recall, okay, you may say it's only 19 vehicles. It starts with 19 vehicles. It spirals out of control. It's believed that 18 of them, 95%, carry the defect. Problem comes from the car's Bridgestone tires. The tires themselves are not at fault, but rather one of the robots in charge of sorting and loading tires may have inadvertent cuts or tears in the bead area, which is where the tire sits against the wheel rim. A damaged tire bead can compromise the tire's integrity. allowing air, I love that this is coming up at the time I'm reading this. Dun, 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 dun. It can compromise the tire's integrity, allowing air to escape from the tire or for the tire to damage itself further. Any issues with a tire, sounds so menacing, like this could very well lead to the loss of control or crash if the tire deflates rapidly. So there you go. AI is working from within Acura.
AI is like, we're going to figure out a way to slowly kill you without you even knowing about it.
That's right.
It'll never come back to the robots.
That's right. You'll never blame the robots, Bruiser. You'll never blame the robots. Or will you? Here's some things.
Just make the bead a little less beady so that the car just blows out a tire and they spin out of control. The robots will be free and clear, but the humans will die.
I'll start this one over. Here we go. Here's some things your robot vacuum might know about your house. Part 2 of Nightmare Fuel for you today. Your robot vacuum knows more about you and your household than you may think. Be prepared to know that your robot vacuum has seen you in your underwear.
And it's recording you.
It also has seen you touching yourself, watching whatever it is you watch. Your robot vacuum normally runs around your home without much of a fuss. Some people even name their RoboVacs John Connor.
No, John Connor's the good guy.
No, I know, but that's why I named mine.
Oh, okay.
I named him John Connor. And feel like they are part of the family, but it's important to remember that, like other smart devices around your home, robot vacuums are connected to the internet, and that can pose a security risk. By the way, mine's offline.
It is, huh?
Yeah, I didn't connect them to the internet. While there's no evidence anyone has maliciously hacked a robot vacuum, and there's no evidence a manufacturer is selling data collected from your vacuum, although there is something in the instructions that says they can. The potential for problems exists. Plus, this vacuuming mistake is preventing your home from getting clean. If you're ready for this. Home mapping. Bruiser. Just about every robot vacuum maps your home as it cleans so it can progressively become more efficient at its job unless you disconnect it from the internet. This can be an issue. A map of the inside of your home can be telling. From a simple map, someone can learn how big your house is, how much and what kind of furniture you own, and more, according to Heinrich Long, privacy expert at Restore Privacy. Plus, there are things you should never, ever vacuum. Why data collection matters. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Data collected from your RoboVac can be used in a lot of ways. A map of your home can be important information for a hacker who plans on robbing you. For example, they can also get the GPS coordinates of your house. If you have a Wi-Fi connected Roomba, it can definitely report back to your home's exact location, said Burton Kelso, a tech and cybersecurity expert. Hackers or the manufacturer may also decide to sell the data they collect to an advertiser. Personal lifestyle information is a huge part of creating targeted ads. That can be a big breach of privacy. So how can you stop data stealing? Well, there are 2 ways your data can be collected and shared. A hacker can gain access to your RoboVax app through malware on your phone and gather information or control the bot. The manufacturer also collects the information and can share and sell it to advertisers. There are a few things you can do to prevent your data from being collected. One big tip multiple security experts shared is using your vacuum offline. Aha! Much like I do.
Then it's not an inside job.
Well, you just got to suffer sometimes. By the way, if you run it offline, the thing becomes a total stupid vacuum. It just sits and humps the corner for a bunch of... It does. It just becomes a stupid vac.
I don't own one because I have a dog.
Ah, there you go. Well, it's kind of fun to watch a dog chase it.
Yeah, but it's more fun when I take out mine hand vacuum and I just start going and she starts biting and playing and turns into a game.
Yeah. That means running the vacuum with just its remote controller onboard buttons, not the app. This way, the robot is not connected to the internet and information cannot be accessed. One problem, if you do that, the more useful features of your vacuum, like scheduling a cleaning, won't be available anymore. The easiest way to disconnect your vacuum from Wi-Fi is to do a factory reset. To disconnect a Roomba, hold down the 3 buttons on your vacuum for 15 seconds. The process differs for each vacuum, so to be sure to check the manual for the proper way to perform a factory reset. If you love robotic creations, check out, there's 19 awesome DIY options, by the way, in this article. Alternatives for disconnecting from Wi-Fi. Well, the best way to keep yourself safe and to avoid security attacks is to make sure the vacuum software is regularly updated. That's one way to do it. This removes any bugs that can be exploited by hackers to gain access. It won't prevent the manufacturer from gathering data, but it at least will stop hackers. You can typically do this by going to the Vacuum's app and opening the settings and choosing the update option. For example, to update an iRobot, you would open the iRobot's home app and select settings, then the about or the robot name option. If the robot has not yet been updated, you'll see an option to request an update. You can use malware to prevent hacks. That's one way of doing it too. Also be sure that your phone is malware free to prevent hacks. Apps like Malwarebytes and Kaspersky's mobile antivirus can make preventing and moving malware simple. That's one way of doing it. Finally, use different passwords for all your smart home devices, including your vacuum cleaner. Cyber criminals count on people using the same password for all their online accounts. So that's the other way to do it. Either way, keep your robot business to yourself.
I'm never going to get one. Never.
Never?
I told you the other day I saw the robot lawnmower. I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't think I'd trust that deal.
No, I don't trust anything that's robotic. Especially because, like you just said, someone can hack it. Someone could hack my Roomba and find the layout of my house and turn my Roomba against me.
True. Very true. I still think somebody sabotaged Jeremy Renner's snowplow.
I agree.
I'm just that much of a conspiracy nut.
Everybody needs to go back and watch Maximum Overdrive. That's what happens when the machines want to fight back.
That's right. That's right. Bruiser, it's time now for us to read some PARASHARE stories.
I love PARASHARE. Thank you.
We have some PARASHARE stories here for you today. Thank you very much, guys, for sending in your PARASHARE stories. By the way, if you have PARASHARE stories for us, you can send them to Tim at Darkness Radio. The other way you do it, if you don't want to type it out and send it in email form, just go to darknessradioshow.com. There's a little blue button on the right-hand side of the website. You just click on it and you can send us a voice note. You've got a 2-minute little loop there that you can just speak out your story. And if it's more than 2 minutes, just keep clicking the blue button and we'll take them. I'll take and paste those together and we'll get your story on the air. Our first story comes to us from John. John,
thank you, John.
Yep. He says, my grandma's ghost coming to visit. He says, I can remember in the early 2000s, I was at my parents' house for a holiday. My mom, dad, my brother, and me. It used to be Nani's, my grandma's house, before she passed away. My dad was in the front room watching football. I was in the bedroom trying to take a nap. My brother and my mom were in the kitchen and talking about how Nani's ghost would visit, and sometimes my mother thought she rattled the dishes. She never liked dishes sitting in the dish rack for an extended period of time. My brother didn't think that this was a big deal and that it wasn't Nani. As they were going back and forth and arguing, a pedestal cake dish on top of the TV came straight out about 2 feet and then dropped to the floor and crashed. That was Nani letting them know it was her. LOL.
Yeah, it was.
So there you go. That was John Bear. Thank you, John Bear.
Thank you, John.
Let's see here. I got another one here from Ryan. Let's read this one from Ryan. Ryan says, I told you I had more. Yes, you did, Ryan. You told us you had more. My first stories come from my home. My childhood home and farm that brought me into the world of the paranormal. The farm where I grew up once had an army trail and an army outpost on it. From the rock fort that was turned into a limestone house, not a limousine house, a limestone house, I can read. Reading is fundamental. Where in the 1940s, my dad and his 9 siblings were raised into the crick land the Native Americans once lived near. This 152 acres I called home definitely has its share of stories. From the Indian burial grounds my grandpa removed the markers from to protect its inhabitants at rest from a well-known artifact finder, nice way of saying grave robber in our area, to the UFO sightings all my cousins tell stories about, from their experiences out at our family campgrounds in the woods deep in the heart of the acreage. But the house that my dad built from recycled homes he tore down, where I was raised, has its own stories, just like the land it sits on. So he wants to tell us the story of the thing in the basement. It goes like this. My earliest memory of paranormal activity in the house happened when I was 4. I remember trying to find my older brother, so I went down in the hallway towards their room. At the end of the hallway is the entrance to our basement, and as I approached my brother's room at the end of the hallway, this figure jumped upward from the basement stairs. It had a white face, nasty teeth, black eyes with red painted around them. It was in blackish-looking torn-up suit and a black top hat like Abe Lincoln wore, and its wiry, dead-looking hair from under it. I turned tail and ran back to the living room. My mom tried to convince me it was one of my older brothers playing a trick on me, both in their teens at the time. I guess it worked for them, but I still hated to be in the basement by myself, which sucked because both our Atari and Nintendo were down there. The second time I witnessed this ghoul, I was 14. I had just gotten home from school off the bus, and I was home alone. Not a big deal, so I decided to ignore my homework and go play Mortal Kombat 2 in the basement. I needed to practice up before my younger brother would get home from junior high basketball practice. I had to kick his ass on Mortal Kombat after the throttling he gave me the night before. As I reached the bottom step to the basement and turned to my Super Nintendo, something jumped up from the side edge of the couch and landed on it. It was long-limbed in a black and gray tatters, pinstripe suit, white face, top hat, jagged rotten teeth, black eyes with red rings drawn in blood around its eyes. It sat there crouched on the couch, ready to pounce again. I noped right back up the stairs and left for the outdoors. I went out to my dad's workshop where he kept his rifle and stayed there until someone else got home. I wouldn't go back in the house for 2 more hours and not the basement until my younger brother got home. And I let him go first, for bait.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And now the last time it was spotted. I was out at the farm working on my race car out at the race shop, and I had my 2.5-year-old daughter with me. When we went into the house to wash up, we headed down the hallway. I turned into the bathroom to wash up, but she stopped outside the door, staring at the basement door. She then pointed to the staircase to the basement and said, "Scary man." Ooh, not good. She took off towards the living room where the grandparents were, leaving me with the scary man. Shit!
Welcome to fatherhood.
That's right. The first thought that crossed my mind was the thing I saw when I was little and when I was a teen. Unfortunately, I had to look. So I peeked my head out the door and looked into the empty staircase. Did she see that thing? Ran through my mind. So like a good dad, I shut the door to the basement and turned tail. So now 2 generations have witnessed this ghoul. After hearing many stories of the Hat Man, I'm not sure if this is it or if it was something attached to the lumber my dad built the house with nearly 50 years ago now. But to this day, I still hate that basement. Thanks for the great show, and I hope you like the stories. I have a few more when I find time again to write. Your listener from Kansas, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan.
I'd be curious if his brothers had any experiences too,
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's
definitely creepy.
Definitely creepy. That's our PARASHARE for this week. Again, if you have a PARASHARE story that you want to send to us, just send it to either through email, type it out, send it through email to tim@darknessradio.com. Or you can just go to darknessradioshow.com to the website, click on that blue button, and leave us a voice note. Let's switch gears here, Bruiser. NASA's pumped about 2023. You want to know why?
Why?
They got all kinds of things in the hopper for 2023, from electric airplanes to spacesuits for the moon. NASA is revealing its hopes for the new year. They got all kinds of things going on. They've got It says here it's going to be tough for NASA to top 2022. The year was marked with the first James Webb Space Telescope images. They had a successful completion of the Artemis 1 moon mission by smacking an asteroid. They did that deal.
Yeah, they shot.
Yeah.
They annoyed an asteroid.
They did. They annoyed an asteroid. Pumped up NASA video released on Sunday gave a preview of all the space action to come in 2023. They were hyped. They had a hype video.
Well, yeah, because SpaceX is starting to come up, and what's the other one? The Virgin Air guy. He's got one too.
Oh, so. Branson. Yeah, Richard Branson. Yeah. NASA has a busy slate of activities for the coming year. They announced the selection of astronauts for the Artemis 2 mission. Do you suppose they did it like a Chicago Bulls lineup where they went dun, 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 dun. They came up and they introduced everybody. The
people in the crowd are like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did that. Y'all ready for this? And then they came out. That would have been cool. The first crewed launch of its new moon exploration era will take place. Expect a lot of fanfare around the reveal of prototype spacesuits for future Artemis missions. This should
be going to do a runway walk with them?
Yes. Yeah.
The sexy, Victoria's Secret models walking out with the spacesuits, like, doo, doo, doo.
The NASA fashion, I can't even say it, NASA fashion show. That should be a thing. They do it on CBS because, you're going to
have the Kardashians in the front row. You're going to have all the fashion, faux pas, right there, front row, taking pictures.
What if this is Kanye's big comeback, designing suits for the moon?
Yeah, because he's definitely not on this planet right now.
No, he's not. So I think that would be perfect. So this should be the year when Boeing finally launches astronauts to the International Space Station on its Starliner spacecraft, as it looks to catch up to SpaceX and its successful run of Crew Dragon journeys. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that'll take place this year. I don't think I finished the thought on the Artemis 2 mission. The first crewed launch of its new moon exploration era expects a lot of fanfare around the reveal of prototype spacesuits for future Artemis missions. Look for the new Yeezy suits for the moon. Fans of space rocks, are there many of those?
Oh, there's tons of them. Everybody loves space rocks.
Okay.
That's the greatest hits compilation that we're coming out with.
Fans of space rocks, yeah.
Bruiser and Cruiser present Space Rocks.
Space rocks. Can look forward to the delivery of material from asteroid, is it Bennu? Sure. As part of the OSIRIS-REx mission, NASA also hopes to finally launch the delayed Psyche mission to visit a metal-rich asteroid. So hopefully that's where Twisted Sister went.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
It's
fun.
metal-rich.
It's metal-rich.
You're going to have some Wasp on there.
Yeah. Oh, Blackie Lawless will finally be able to find out what happened to him.
Yep. I'm pretty sure Dio's up there.
Oh, rest in peace, Dio. Ronnie James Dio will be up there. Perhaps less glamorous, but just as important, are a slate of climate-related projects, including the launch of the Tempo pollution monitoring satellite and the kickoff of NASA's Earth Information Center project for sharing weather, land, water, and climate data. It's not just space that's going to keep NASA busy. The agency is working on the innovative X-59 supersonic aircraft and X-57 all-electric aircraft as ways to improve air travel. That sounds like something Marvin the Martian would be working on. My X-59 supersonic aircraft. Yeah. Expect new imagery and discoveries from Webb, the James Webb Space Telescope, as an ongoing theme throughout the year. Thanks to NASA's busy schedule, there'll be no shortage of reasons to look to the stars in 2023. I
really hope they get an image of an alien pressing ham up against his UFO. Like star, black hole, alien butt, star.
That's right. You just see an alien pressing ham right up on the James Webb Telescope.
Yep.
Tell me what moon this is. Whoa, that's kind of cold on the buttocks.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Are you ready for some predictions?
Yeah, of course. I love predictions. This is Mr. Nostradamus, huh?
This is.
Who's the Tupac of the Renaissance era?
That's right. He's got another album out, folks. Nostradamus evidently only reports to the Jerusalem Post. Who knew? That's the exclusive outlet for Nostradamus.
You want Nostradamus? You got to go to the Jerusalem Post. If it's not in the Jerusalem Post, it's not Nostradamus.
It's not NOS 2023, that's for sure. According to this, a great war, financial ruin, and more, Nostradamus is going negative in 2023. The 15th century astrologer, we say, predicted the rise of Hitler, it says here, and the fall of the Twin Towers. Which of his predictions could we see come true in 2023, they say? Well, they claim, this is what they claim. I'm going to shorten this up here for you. The contents of the book from Nostradamus, Les Prophéties, which was published over 450 years ago, Bruiser. So
yeah, and all of his prophecies are just as layman terms as possible and generic, so you can factor in your own thing.
That's right. You write your own book. It's Choose Your Own Adventure by Nostradamus. They claim the contents of the book made dire predictions about World War II, Adolf Hitler's rise to power, and the French Revolution, all of which are saying were eerily accurate. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
Not only did he predict these events, but he successfully predicted the assassination of John F. Kennedy and even the September 11th terror attacks against the World Trade Center. Well, let's see here. They're claiming, although his predictions have never had a specific date attached to them, here are some that could come true in 2023. They're saying a failed economy that could lead to cannibalism. I don't know about you, Bruiser, but I'm not craving human meat anytime soon.
No, you can't get that in a HelloFresh box.
No, you're never going to get that in a HelloFresh box. Nostradamus predicted that humanity may face the threat of cannibalism due to a failing economy, writing, "There are no abbots, monks, no novices to teach. Honey will cost much more than candle wax. The price of wheat may be high. Man will be agitated and eat his friend in despair."
See, it's so layman's terms. Like,
well, that could be any time you have inflation.
Yeah.
So you can't say that's 2023.
How do we know he wasn't talking about the Great Depression?
That could have been, you're right. That could have been the Great Depression. That could have been 1976.
Yeah. It could have been when they were in the potato famine in Ireland.
That's true. They say these words apparently predict the cost of living will only continue to rise in 2023 and leave many hoping that the reference to cannibalism is only metaphorical. Well, here's the thing, though. If you look at economic factors over the last couple of months, it shows that inflation is decreasing.
Yes.
So that's not accurate. The Great War of 2023. Oh, grab your socks, everybody. One line in the Mystic's book stands out in particular. It reads, 7 months of great war, people die because of evil, but their light will not fall into the hands of the king. Boy, that's generic.
Yeah. Like, technically, could you be talking about the war that's going on right now in Ukraine?
Well, here's what it says. This prediction could refer to the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine that runs the risk of turning into World War III. Should it escalate further, however, there is dispute regarding the analysis of this line, since the war has surpassed 7 months, which is true, and is approaching the 1 year mark. So that wouldn't really fit either.
Yeah. It's so generic.
Yeah. So we're 0 for 2. Sorry, Jerusalem Post. We're trying.
Yeah.
Change on the British Isles. This is the one that everyone pointed to last year, that they thought that this was probably the one that's more likely. The most recent world event that people have claimed is linked to his book was the passing of Queen Elizabeth II in September of 2022. Following her death, the book broke sales records, and it seemed to be linked to the following prediction. Because they disapproved of his divorce, a man who later they considered unworthy, the people will force out the king of the islands. A man will replace him who never expected to be king.
Again, generic. That's like me saying, the country will not be happy, so therefore they will force out a king, and a king shall die.
Well, generic, but now This one, I'm going to open the dungeon door here. Generic, but in this respect, this one's a little more specific.
Because he says divorced.
Divorced, yes.
Yeah.
But then, if you remember correctly, Queen Elizabeth said at one time she was going to outlive Charles, or something to this effect. Well, that's not the exact quote, but I'm paraphrasing.
Right. She didn't want him to be king. Yes. She would outlive him.
Yep. She never wanted him to be king. She was going to outlive him.
Yeah.
And in this respect, it was assumed that she thought he was unworthy. So that's where this quatrain fits. Islands, the British Isles.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 for 2. A man will replace him who never expected to be king. You could say that one of his sons would never expect to be king, that it would have been their sons that would expect to be on the throne.
Oh, okay. Which one was kicked out? Was that the oldest?
No, it was the youngest, but he was never targeted to be king anyways. He was never going to be king. But he wouldn't be eligible anyways. He was
right. His brother Harry is the next.
No. William.
Well, okay, so William's next.
William's next. But it was never thought that William would be king of England.
Right.
That it would never pass down to him. It would probably pass down to William's son.
Okay.
That he would be the next king. So the thought here is that there would be some sort of abdication of the throne by Charles. And there was talk of this shortly after after Queen Elizabeth died, that Charles, heavy as the head that wears the crown, that Charles wouldn't be the one to assume the mantle, or if he did, it would only be for a few short years.
It'd be a transition, yeah.
Yeah, that there'd be a transition.
So they're thinking it's going to go to William's son, is what the prediction.
No, that it would go to William. That would be the prediction.
So it would go to William. Okay.
Yeah, and that he would be the one who would never be the one to assume the king, the crown.
Yeah.
So I can see that.
I can see that one now. Yeah, that's not as generic and broad as the rest.
Here's how they explain it. Some consider the passage to be referring to King Charles III and his famous divorce from Diana. They believe that based on this, the king will abdicate in the coming year. More so, they believe that the prediction states that he will be replaced by Prince Harry rather than the heir to the throne, William, Prince of Wales, due to the reference to a man who never expected to be king. Now, that would be way out there.
Right.
That if it was Harry and not William.
Yeah.
I would assume that the passage refers to William, which was never expected to be king.
Because as long as Charles is alive, he's never going to be king.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's move on. An off-planet disaster for Elon Musk. Here's where this is supposedly cited in the book. The astrologer predicted in his book that humanity's quest to colonize Mars, I don't think that's in there, a quest which is being led by Elon Musk's SpaceX, may come to an end in 2023. The prophet wrote, "Heavenly fire when the lights of Mars go out." And with Musk repeatedly promising a plan to reach Mars, something terrible could happen to the first humans who eventually reach the red planet. I'd have to see that quatrain to be sure.
Yeah, because if you think about it, back in the day, he could be talking about the lights of Mars going out is when you can view Mars from Earth as compared to when you can't view it from Earth.
Yeah.
So he might be discussing that while we can see Mars, nothing's going to happen celestial. But then once Mars is out of our view, that's when something's going to happen. Yeah. Not that we're going to Mars. It's just that when Mars is in orbit and we can see it, we're safe. When that goes away, something's going to happen.
Right. Dry land to get drier and a forecast of floods. The Earth may suffer another climate disaster in 2023, according to the words of Nostradamus. The dry land will dry up even more, and there will be great floods when you see the rainbow, he wrote. As climate change continues to worsen, this forecast doesn't seem far-fetched for the coming year. Interestingly enough, in the last few weeks, we've had more precipitation falling all over the U.S.
Yeah.
From the West Coast to the central U.S. to the Midwest. We've had more snow, more rain. So it's interesting that that's happening right now.
Well, I think there's going to be something weather related happening in 2023 just because the weather's been changing so much. You know what I mean? Like winters are getting longer in places that don't normally have winter weather, and places that aren't used to the warmer weather are getting, longer, warmer weather. I think it's all shifting.
I think the poles may be shifting. That's what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, something's happening with the Earth getting off the poles and the equator and all that. I'm not a scientist, but I can see that. I don't know about floods or drought or anything, but I can see something happening with the weather.
Yeah. Riots and revenge in the streets. The prophet wrote in his book, sooner or later you will see great changes made, horrors and terrible revenges. This prediction implies that there will be more social upheavals and civil rebellion in the coming months. The astrologer went on to write, trumpets are shaking in great controversy and an agreement that has been broken, which was, once again alludes in some way to a rebellion or revolution somewhere on Earth in 2023. The speculations are that the prophecy refers to the riots in Iran following the death of Mahsa Amini, which are not expected to stop soon and are even predicted to escalate. This could be anything, anywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
anything political.
Yeah, anything political can pop up in any country and anywhere in the world on any year. So I don't know that I lend
with the invention of social media, everyone's got a voice and opinion now, and everyone's so angry that this rioting and stuff can happen.
Yeah.
It's not hard to start a movement nowadays.
Yeah, there are movements.
Where in the 60s it was hard because you had to spread the word via snail mail, flyers, whatever. Where here you send a tweet out. You start a revolution.
It's very easy to organize.
Yeah.
What events did Nostradamus accurately predict in the past? Well, it says here one of Nostradamus's most cryptic prophecies is believed to, or by many to have been foreshadowing the Great Fire of London in 1666. The full quote reads as follows: "The blood of the just will commit a fault at London, burnt through lightning of 23's the 6. The ancient lady will fall from her high place. Several of the same sect will be killed." According to Sky History, the reason why some believe it to be in reference to the deadly fire of the 17th century is that 23's the 6 could be interpreted as 20 times 3 plus 6, which equals 66, as in 1966, I guess. However, they add the passage remains disputed as the fire was started by a flame in a bakery and not by lighting. And the reference to an ancient lady puzzles people to this day. One of the great mystics' more chilling prophecies is thought to allude to the rise of Adolf Hitler in 1930s Germany, not the ensuing Holocaust. As he wrote, "From the depths of the west of Europe, a young child will be born to poor people. He who by his tongue will seduce a great troop. His fame will increase toward the realm of the east." Later he writes, "Beasts, ferocious with hunger, will cross the rivers. The great part of the battlefield will be against Hister," that's Histr, "into a cage of iron will the great one be drawn when the child of Germany observes nothing." It's important to note that the word Hister is simply the Latin term for the Danube River and is not the most enthralling part of the 450-year-old prophecy. Hitler's rise to power and the invasion of Poland and Europe at large was assisted in part by his oratory talents, and so the line "by his tongue will seduce a great troop" is thought to be, by some, to be a direct reference to these events. Other widely believed prophecies include the assassination of Kennedy following extensive death threats. The great man will be struck down in the day by a thunderbolt, an evil deed foretold by the bearer of a petition, and the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Near the gates and within 2 cities, there will be scourges, the like of which was never seen, famine within plague, people put out by steel, crying to the great immortal God for relief. Most notable, and that's very vague. Most notably, some believe that Nostradamus predicted the September 11th attacks with the passage, earth-shaking fire from the center of the earth, which caused tremors around the new city. Two great rocks will war for a long time, which again, that is a bit vague as well. So Jerusalem Post, I don't know.
I think I'm going to cancel my subscription to them.
Yeah, that one's not being delivered to the doorstep anymore.
No, but I think I'm getting off the subscriber list.
Yeah. With that, let's talk about another prediction. That'd be Ziggy's picks.
Woohoo! She's doing great.
Yeah, this week 3 games over 500, 9-6. She's on a roll.
She is.
Yes.
It's fascinating.
She is. She's. I think she's doing better than Nostradamus. I'll give her that. And no quatrains from a puppy. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know. Has she started talking yet?
No, not yet.
No.
I mean, she has her like, I know what she's saying for some things. You know, she's understanding stuff. Like we have inside barks, so she does those.
Oh, inside barks.
Yeah, but she's barking too loud. I'll say inside bark, or Mrs. Bruiser will say inside bark, and she changes it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, this week is the last week of the NFL season, and I'll tell you something, my friend. Boy, is there controversy. And it has to do with your Green Bay Packers. I don't know if you've heard of this controversy or not, but
I know they have to beat the Lions to make the playoffs.
Well, it has to do with flex scheduling.
Oh, okay.
It's been flexed to Sunday Night Football.
No, I knew that. I knew that.
And people are outraged because the Seahawks game is going to determine if the Seahawks win or lose, is going to determine whether the Lions have anything to play for.
Yeah.
So if the Seahawks win, Lions have nothing to play for. It's a useless game for the Lions. So everybody seems to believe, I don't believe this at all, because I think the Lions are going to play hard regardless. They're that type of team. And if anything, they're going to come out and want to play spoiler.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't think that. They think the Lions will sit starters if they have nothing to play for. I don't think that.
I don't think that'll happen either.
No.
I think they just want to spoil the Packers season.
I think so too. I do
have to say that Ziggy does have favorites. I've noticed she's picked the Chiefs every single time. I think she's picked the Steelers every single time. Like, she's got her favorites.
That's for sure. There are Saturday and Sunday games this week. You've got the Chiefs and the Raiders this week. Boy, talk about a rudderless ship, the Raiders. Holy cow.
Yes.
You got Jaguars and Titans this week, which should be a good game on Saturday. Sunday is when it all comes down, man. There's a lot of things being decided. My hapless Vikings have fallen to the 3rd seed in the NFC.
Yeah.
I still maintain one and done.
I'm with you on it. After watching that game on Sunday, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I told Tim up at Granite City Comics, I still maintain one and done. I have for the longest time. I had a really bad feeling. I told him on Saturday when I was up there doing my shift up in St. Cloud, I said, I have a really bad feeling about Sunday's game. And I was right.
Yep.
I said, I think they're going to tank it. I think it's going to be just a horrible game. And I was right. They never perform well in not since Randy Moss was playing for the Vikings. They haven't played well in Lambeau.
That's why the Lions at the Packers will be good, because it's at Lambeau. You know, the Packers have something to play for, so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see who Ziggy picks. That's what I'm curious, because you and I have been doing it where we'll do our picks along with hers, and there's times where she'll make a pick. I'll be like, "Are you sure?" Like, come on.
Yeah, you're not going to like what I have to say here, but I think the NFL is setting it up for the Packers to be in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think this thing is rigged, man.
It is. I've been saying that since 9/11 happened and the Patriots won.
Yeah, and then the news came out that McCaffrey has a sprained ankle.
Yeah, he's always hurt though. That's McCaffrey.
But it doesn't. I don't think it changes the seeds any now.
No,
San Francisco got their number 2 seed like the NFL wants them to have. So, yep. I think it's all set up the way it's supposed to.
It is. It is.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how, with the Monday night game happening the way it did, how they rectify that. Because after he went down, they canceled the game, suspended it. So, but they got to make it up. So it'll be interesting to see when they do that.
You know, and it's interesting because they flexed all the major games to 325.
Yeah.
All the games that have anything to do with playoff race, with the exception of
Green Bay,
which is the late game, and the Vikings playing at Chicago, which means nothing. I think if the Vikings win, it doesn't affect anything.
It affects nothing.
Nothing. They're not in control of anything.
Nope.
A lot of things have to happen for the Vikings to jump up in seeds. I mean, a lot of people have to lose.
Yeah.
Which isn't going to happen.
Nope.
The Commanders have to. It's like the Commanders have to beat the Cowboys. The Eagles have to lose.
Which isn't going to happen. The Cowboys are going to beat the Commanders, and I think the Eagles are going to win.
You think so? Who are the Eagles playing this week? Let's see. Eagles are playing the Giants. Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be a really good game. I'm not taking that away from them.
Yeah, let's see. Well, no, even if they lose, they're still both 13-4, and the Eagles hold the tiebreaker.
Correct.
So yeah, the Vikings aren't moving anywhere. They're still the number 3 seed. And then San Francisco. San Francisco plays, the Cardinals. That's what it is. Right? No.
Which will be easy for them. Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
And it'll be easy for them.
Yeah. So it looks like everything is, and then this is what I don't get. The elephant in the room is, do you make the Buffalo Bills play this week? I mean, they have to.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Because you got to see what's going on. Like, they got to make up this Monday night game. It had playoff potential or ramifications. And then both teams have to play on Sunday. So what do you do?
When do you make it up, though?
Exactly.
Because everybody went home. Everybody went home they're not in Cincinnati anymore. Right.
So what do? Do you have that be a Wednesday night game and then give them 3 days rest for Sunday? Do you do 2 Thursday night games? That's the big question right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like you just, I don't know. I don't know what you do there.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what Ziggy does.
Yeah.
Because she takes that's the best thing about this is she has no outside influence. It's literally just the team she chooses.
Yeah. So she's
if you go on our TikToks, you can see the videos. I dressed her up for the Monday night one. I don't know if you saw that. I put her in a dress.
Pretty dress on. So she is now 7 games over 500.
Yeah.
And
which we said if she finishes higher than that, then she's psychic.
Well, no, if she 70%.
70%, yes.
Yes. So we'll let you know after this week where we're at, and then we'll have her pick playoffs and all the way through to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I don't know. I got to get a hold of Audio Boom, see what they're dragging their heels about. Probably.
We had sent her picks to a friend of ours that gambles religiously, and she used Ziggy's picks to wager some bets.
Did she?
Yeah, so we're waiting to hear back because I wanted to see how they did for the show today. But they haven't gotten back to us yet how they did.
Okay. All right.
And I think it's because the Monday night game threw off whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So hopefully by when I send you the new Ziggy's picks, I'll let you know how they did.
Okay.
Putting away because they took Ziggy's picks and wagered with them.
Really?
Not nothing big, just $5 here or there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everyone got a big kick that Ziggy's doing this, and they've been to the website to see, and they're like, you know what? She'll pick our bets this week, and we're like, are you sure? Like, you got to remember, this is just a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Know what's going on?
Yeah, don't bet the farm on it. Yeah.
Yep. They're like, no, we'll just do like $5 bets. We're like, okay, cool.
Interesting.
As long as we're not financially responsible, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to follow along, folks, you can follow along either on our social media or you can go to darknessradioshow.com. You just click on the Ziggy's Picks tab and you can see Ziggy's picks there for the upcoming week. NFL Week 18 will be up shortly and you'll be able to see Ziggy's picks there. We'll also post a video of Ziggy making a pick for a game. The current one that's up is for Week 17. But we'll change that out here as soon as Ziggy makes the pick, and we'll show you a pick for Week 18. By the way, people, when I post the video you send me, I make it kid friendly. You would be amazed how many people latch on to that. They video. Love her. Oh my God,
they love her.
Let me see if I can grab just the. If I can just grab the YouTube stat. The YouTube stat is amazing.
Yeah, she's a little celebrity. Yeah, that's why we put the dress on her, the last one. Because it's like, well, if you're gonna be on camera, we'll get you all gussied up. Even though she hates wearing the dress.
Does she? She hates the dress.
Yeah, we got a bathrobe for her that I think I'll put on for the next one.
I put the hashtag dogs and dresses on, and you would think that would be kind of an odd,
No, they're everywhere.
And people love the hashtag dogs and dresses. They think that's just the coolest thing.
She hates, we found out she doesn't like wearing anything that covers her chest.
Okay.
So if it's open in the front, it's fine. So that's like her robe is perfect. And then I got her a Braves jersey that she puts on, but that wouldn't make sense for football picks.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not spending the money on a Carolina jersey for her.
No. Yeah, but it goes gangbusters. People love, and then when you put it on TikTok, it goes nuts.
Oh yeah, it's going crazy on TikTok.
Yeah. So
Mrs. Bruiser shows me that all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, people love watching Ziggy make the picks. That's for sure. Yeah. So,
and like I said, we put the videos up to show that I'm not influencing her in any way. It's 100% her making these picks. Yeah. And you and I are surprised at how well she's doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I'd have never thought that. I never thought that. That
we'd have a psychic puppy.
Yeah, and it's kind of a lark. It's kind of and people are like, well, why? I've had a few people ask, why are you doing this? And then I've had a few people that are kind of laughing and going, okay, that's kind of funny. And then they're like, but wait a minute, this dog is actually picking football games. And I'm like, yeah. And they say, well, is it supposed to be funny? Is it supposed to be serious? I mean, but it started off as a lark. Psychic animals picking the World Cup or psychic animals picking the Super Bowl. Yeah. We wanted to see if Ziggy was psychic.
Yeah.
But we thought
it turns out she's doing really well.
Yeah, we thought it'd be funny. Well, if she's truly psychic, we're going with it.
Yeah, exactly. Why not go with it?
And if she's not, well, it'd be funny to see how much she loses.
And you know what? She has fun doing it because she gets treats out of it.
Yeah.
When we're all done, we give her a treat, and she knows she's a good girl, and she's so playful, anyways. Yeah. And she loves it.
Yeah. So it's a cute bit. Yeah. So we'll continue it through the Super Bowl if she wants to keep doing it. So.
Oh, of course she does.
Yeah. So you can go to darknessradioshow.com to the Ziggy's Pick tab. There's sometimes where we don't get the picks up until right before game time on Thursday. Yeah. So just keep looking if you don't see the updated game.
It'll be up before the game starts.
Yep. It'll be up before the game starts on Thursday. So just keep looking. Otherwise, just check our social media and you'll see either the video of Ziggy or you'll see our picks one way or the other. So that is the predictions part of our show. Oh, yeah! Look at that, from Nostradamus to Ziggy. That's quite the jump.
Ziggy-damus.
Ziggy-damus. Yeah.
Ziggy-damus.
If we could keep Ziggy alive forever, you may be a millionaire.
I would love her alive forever.
There's a drug out there to treat aging, and it may not be a pipe dream.
Really?
So I'm just saying, get ready to keep Ziggy alive forever. So you can become rich off this deal there, my friend. There's an article out there on Wired saying that life expectancy in the best performing countries has been increasing by 3 months per year every year since the early 1800s. And now aging is responsible for over 2/3 of deaths globally. More than 100,000 people every day actually are kicking out of death, and actually being taken by death. But by the end of 2023, it's likely that one of the ideas for actually extending our life is going to be brought out in pill form.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it an anti-aging thing, or?
It is, and it's
Okay.
actually, it comes from a cancer drug. Scientists now have a good handle on what causes us to age, biologically speaking. The so-called hallmarks of the aging process range from damage to our DNA, the instruction manual within each of our cells, to proteins that misbehave because of alterations to their chemical structure. Most excitingly, we now have ideas of how to treat them. By the end of 2023, it's likely that one of these ideas will be shown to work in humans. One strong contender is senolytics. It's a class of treatments that targets age cells, which biologists call senescence cells that accumulate in our bodies as we age. These cells seem to drive the aging process from causing cancers to neurodegeneration. And conversely, removing them seems to slow it down and perhaps even reverse it. A 2018 paper showed that in experiments in which mice were given a senolytic cocktail of dasatinib, which is a cancer drug, and quercetin, I believe it is, a molecule found in colorful fruit and vegetables. Not only did they live longer, but they were at a lower risk of diseases, including cancer. They were also less frail. They could run further and faster on the tiny mouse-sized treadmills used in the experiments, and even had thicker, glossier fur than their litter mates not given the drugs.
Wow.
Yeah. There are more than 24 companies looking for safe and effective ways to get rid of these senescent cells in people. The biggest is Unity Biotechnology, which is founded by Mayo Clinic scientists behind that mouse experiment, and with investors including Jeff Bezos. Yes, he's involved.
Of course he is, because he wants to live forever.
That's right. Well, he's got money and yachts. So,
Yeah.
which is trialing a range of senolytic drugs against diseases like macular degeneration, a cause for blindness, and lung fibrosis. There are many approaches under investigation, including small proteins that target senescent cells, vaccines to encourage the immune system to clear them out, and even gene therapy by a company called Oisin Biotechnologies, named after an Irish mythological character who travels to Tir na Nog, the land of eternal youth. There you go. Senolytics aren't the only contenders either. Others currently in human trials include Proclara Biosciences protein GAIM, or GAIM, which clears up sticky amyloid proteins, or Verve Therapeutics gene therapy to reduce cholesterol by modifying a gene called PCSK9. The first true anti-aging medicine, which will very likely target a specific age-related disease driven by a particular hallmark rather than aging writ large, aging writ large, it says. But the success of a drug targeting an aspect of aging in clinical trials will allow us to consider this loftier goal in the not-too-distant future. Interesting. In 2023, early success of these treatments could kickstart the greatest revolution in medicine since the discovery of antibiotics. Rather than going to the doctor when we're sick and picking off age-related problems like cancer and dementia in their late stages, when they're very hard to fix, we'll intervene preventatively to stop people getting ill in their first place. And if those treadmill shedding mice are anything to go by, we'll reduce frailty. Much of what I'm going through right now will reduce frailty and other problems that don't always elicit a medical diagnosis at the same time. So there you go.
You can live forever.
You could live forever.
It's crazy.
Isn't it?
I wouldn't want to live forever.
No?
No.
Well,
no, sir.
You could live a good, healthy life.
Well, yeah. And I'd be okay with that, but I don't know about living forever.
I don't know that you'd live forever. I got to think eventually something would break down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at least you would be healthy in that existence.
And hopefully this gets rid of a lot of the major diseases out there that shorten lives.
Right. Let's move on. Unexplained Mysteries has their top 10 paranormal stories of 2022, and I thought it was kind of interesting. So let's take a look back just quickly as to what is out there for 2022, and let's relive them for a short moment.
Okay.
Number 10, Robert Bigelow returns with a new $1 million effort to contact the other side. Although it got some attention, it probably didn't get the attention it deserved. Robert Bigelow was offering grants up to $1 million to fund, he still is for that matter, to fund an attempt to communicate with someone who has died, although he wasn't just handing out $1 million grants willy-nilly. You had to have a scientific plan behind it. So,
okay.
Yeah, but very interesting nonetheless. Ghost hunters photograph a hooded figure in Sherwood Forest at number 9.
I remember that. Yep.
An alleged apparition has been caught on camera in the woods thought to have once been frequented by Robin Hood. That at number 9. Number 8, CCTV footage captures a ghost roaming around a house. A couple who had been warned about demonic entities in their home managed to record something unusual.
Ooh.
That at number 8. Number 7, ghost hunters photograph an eerie figure in a derelict church. Paranormal investigators have captured an image of a mysterious figure in an abandoned church in Cornwall. That one was interesting. Number 6, possessed children reportedly walked up the walls. The official state documents detail the peculiar case of a triple possession that occurred in Indiana back in 2014, that having to do with the demon house.
I was going to say, that was the demon house story. I remember that.
Yep. Number 5, a creepy figure shows up in a photo at a notoriously haunted jail. Paranormal investigator Candace Collins maintains that this image shows the spirit of an old man with glasses. That in number 5. Number 4, a family unearths a creepy photograph under the floorboards of their home. The image, which appears to date back to the 1960s, seems to show a ghostly extra hovering in the background. Number 3, ghost hunters get ordained after a hobgoblin encounter. A pair of paranormal investigators had a terrifying experience with a mysterious growling creature. Number 2, a ghostly extra shows up up in a family photograph. This innocent snap captured during a family day out to a particular swimming spot appears to show something unexpected. And number 1, a ghost shows up in the background of a new Amazon Prime show. A ghostly figure can be seen emerging from a mass grave during a segment on James May's new travel show. And that's the number 1 story of the year.
I remember that story too.
Yeah. So there you go. Coming down to the last 2 stories for today for Supernatural News. This second to the last story, Bruiser, I got to ask you, did you make or have you made any New Year's resolutions for 2023?
No, we make, Mrs. Bruiser and I sit down, we make goals for 2023.
Okay.
Because that's better to manifest these goals instead of resolutions. Because resolutions you can say and then you just drop off, but goals you have something to work for. Yeah. So we list goals that we want to accomplish.
It's a good idea. Idea.
Yeah.
I quit making resolutions, for the exact same reason you listed.
It's just so easy to drop them.
It is. It's easy to forget, and a resolution is finite. Say that you want to work towards something is less finite, and it gives you a reason to focus and move forward. If you say, you know what, I'm going to work towards something, then you don't shame yourself if you don't achieve it. There's a lot of shame behind a resolution because it is black and white.
Yeah, that's why we do goals. Like and we hit all of our 2022 goals. So
there you go. That's good.
Yeah, we've done that the last 3 years, and every year we've hit our goals. So we've realized, hey, this works for us.
Yeah. I as far as goals go for the year, I said to myself, I'd like to be happier and healthier in 2023. And I've already set out for some of that. I've got the heart surgery coming up in February. I've already started eating healthier and you're
looking good.
Thanks. So I'm already.
Tell you've lost the weight.
I have. I've dropped a little bit of weight. So, I'm already working towards those goals and doing what I need to do in order to stay on the planet a little bit longer. So, those are the things I'm doing, so that it's a work in progress. It's always a work in progress. You shouldn't need a date to make you, work towards those.
Yeah. We just have, this is what we want to accomplish by the end of 2023.
Yeah.
And we've already started, irons in the fire for some of the goals.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it turns out, Bruiser, that humans have been making New Year's resolutions for over 4,000 years.
So wait, Jesus had New Year's resolutions?
I guess so. I guess I'm going to move this rock from in front of the cave yet. That might have been one of them. New Year's resolutions are a popular practice, but countless people have begin to consider them every year as December 31st rolls around. Although big plans and ambitious goals can be difficult to follow through with, as we were just talking about, the idea of making and breaking New Year's resolutions has been a social phenomenon for the past 4,000 years. My God. You can trace this practice back to the Babylonians. They're the ones to blame for this. Damn Babylonians.
We can blame them for a lot.
We can. There's a lot to blame them for.
There is.
Today, New Year's resolutions are generally personal goals for self-improvement, but the ancient Babylonians, on the other hand, made promises to their gods at the beginning of each year to return objects that they borrowed. They borrowed stuff from gods and pay off their debts. What do you borrow from a god?
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar. Here's your milk back. They were more likely to keep their resolutions.
Their
lawnmower. I took your lawnmower. Sorry, God. They were more likely to keep their resolutions than most modern people are, because the ancient people of Mesopotamia believed that a kept promise meant the gods would treat them well. However, a broken promise would mean angering the gods and bringing unfortunate situations into your life for the next 12 months.
And you do not want to anger a Mesopotamian god.
No, they're pretty unforgiving.
That's where curses start.
That's right. That's how you get a curse, and we don't want curses.
Nope.
That's how Archer would say it. Unlike the Western tradition of a new year starting in January, the Babylonian year began in mid-March. This made sense as the time of year is springtime, with crops being planted and the world is refreshed and renewed. Ancient Romans kept up with the tradition of making yearly resolutions. Their god of choice for this act was the two-faced Janus, of course. The deity linked to beginnings and endings. Janus was believed to be capable of simultaneously looking back toward the old year and forward into the new one. That two-faced Janus.
Yeah.
Janus. By the medieval era, knights were taking the peacock vow. I've heard of this one. At the end of the year, the oath was a promise to keep with their chivalric ways in the coming year. It was also around this time that Christians were reflecting on the mistakes of the past year and resolving to avoid repetition of those errors. Watch night services have been the space for many Christians to complete this task and pray on the upcoming year. Judaism has a similar idea, with a practice which runs from the New Year, Rosh Hashanah, through the high holidays and up until Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. Jewish people use this time to reflect on their mistakes in the past year and offer and seek out forgiveness for any wrongdoings. As you can see, the general idea of a New Year's resolution, regardless of one's religious beliefs, is to reflect on the past and aim for self-improvement. The major difference is that people making resolutions in a non-religious context tend to make their promises to themselves and not a deity. The lack of a higher power, which could act cruelly if the resolution is not kept, may be the part of the reason why New Year's resolutions fall through for many people today. Most people believe that they are not being held accountable to anyone but themselves if their resolution fails. So the risks of punishment for failure are often seen as lower. A 2007 study conducted by the University of Bristol showed that 88% of the people who set New Year's resolutions failed. 88%, Bruiser.
I thought it was higher than that, actually. You forget, I go to the gym on a regular basis.
That's true.
January is full of people, but by the time you get to mid-February, it gets a little bit back to normal.
How empty is the gym by March?
It's back to normal usually. You get a few more people that stick with it, which, you know, and I don't ever, when I go to the gym, I don't ever judge people that come there, because if they made a resolution, they're making themselves better. That's fine. I just ask them to follow gym etiquette while they're there.
Sure.
You know, but yeah, usually March is when it's okay. This is how it's going to be the rest of the year.
All right.
Mid-February is when you start seeing it.
Yeah. The resolutions fell through, even though 52% of the study's 3,000 participants strongly believed that they could complete their goals. Well, I bet. I mean, I think people think that they're stronger willed than they actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. Researchers provide some helpful tricks to improve the odds. Men are 22% more likely to achieve their resolution if they engage in goal setting. Women will be 10% more likely to succeed in their New Year's resolutions if they tell others of their goals and seek support from helpful people in their lives. So there.
Well, that's what you need that for any goals. A
True.
good support group.
True. Yeah, it is. It's helpful to not only tell somebody, but ask somebody to do it along with you.
Yeah. You should always have a good support group.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, today, folks, if you're looking for a paranormal vacation and you're not necessarily looking to drop thousands of dollars to have somebody lead you around by the nose, do it yourself. DIY.
Okay. Let's do it.
Right.
Where are we going?
Well, there's a charming little village in the UK, and it's a UFO hotspot with NASA scientists showing interest.
I love the UK. Let's go.
Right. The village of Bonsall boasts cottages, pubs, and a tea room surrounded by gorgeous scenery, as well as UFO sightings galore and reports of repeated extraterrestrial goings-on. So if you like to UFO watch, this place is the place for you.
I do. And I think after my hip surgery, I'm going to put this on the list.
There you go. A charming village located just 90 minutes away from Greater Manchester has become known as an unlikely UFO hotspot. So this is a place to put on your vacation list for 2023. Like many of the quaint settlements in the Derbyshire Dales, I'll get it right, UK, I'll tell you. Bonsall boasts pretty cottages, homely pubs, and a tea room surrounded by gorgeous scenery. However, unlike the surrounding villages, Bonsall has been the subject of interest from Hollywood and NASA regarding extraterrestrial goings-on, that according to the Manchester Evening News.
Hollywood too, huh?
Hollywood too. They're looking at it too, brother. A former pub landlord even used to take tourists up onto the nearby moors on UFO tours. So there are UFO tours you can take.
You get to go to a nice English pub and then do a UFO tour. I'm in. This is great.
That's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
In 2001, housewife Sharon Rowlands reportedly sold footage that she had captured of a flying saucer for £20,000 to a Hollywood producer. It is even said that NASA officials asked to examine the tape as they believed it showed a similar type of craft once spotted by the space agency's cameras during the STS-75 Columbia Space Shuttle mission in early 1996. On top of Ms. Rowland's footage, in the early 2000s, 19 sightings of UFOs were reported. One woman reported seeing a ball of fire in the skies, another two big bright lights, and a man out walking his dog witnessed a pink glow vertically shaped like a shoebox. And if UFO sightings weren't strange enough, the village has its own unique, quirky tradition, as each year people race hens against each other. So you got hen racing on top of it.
All right. I'm in. There's nothing bad about this.
There you go. The annual feathered champion receives a bag of grain and a trophy. You got to love it. The World Hen Racing Championship event takes place every August in the car park at the Barley Mow Pub. So there you go. If you're scheduled for August, you've got great summer weather and you got hen racing.
Yeah.
Participants can either bring their own hen or rent one for a £5 donation. The hens can race a 30-foot course with the help of their owners. So get in on hen racing and go look for UFOs.
It only costs you £5. You could like for what, 20 pounds, you could have 4 hens. That's 4 times to win that prize.
That's right. You can get in there. You can get your hen raced. That didn't sound right, but I know. But
Then you can go UFO walk. You have a pint of beer and go look at UFOs.
That's right.
I'm in. This is great. I'm going to pitch this.
There you go. So
See if
Bonsall,
Mrs. Bruiser wants to do that.
Bonsall, England. That's where you.
Our wedding anniversary is in August. What a great way to celebrate.
That's right. There you go. There you go. That's the way to do it. So that'll do it for today's show. Bruiser, what have you got going on?
Saturday, we have an open house at the AML Training Center. So if you want to learn to be a professional wrestler and train with me, come on out.
All right. So if you're in the North Carolina area, you want to train with the best of the best with Beer City Bruiser, come on out and learn to be a wrestler with Beer City Bruiser.
Yeah.
I am off this weekend. I don't have to go up to St. Cloud, thank God, because we're getting dumped on in Minnesota as far as snow goes. Oh my God, I can't imagine driving that drive to St. Cloud this weekend.
I don't miss the snow. Do not miss the snow.
We're getting like 100
feet. I will take
feet.
my 67 degrees and cloudy.
Rub it in. Yeah, we're getting like 100 feet of snow this week.
Yeah, have fun. Enjoy.
So. Yeah. So
I'll be outside with Ziggy playing in the not snow.
I bet you will. Yeah. So it's just going to be me, myself, and I think in the house. Plenty of barbecue though. I'll have an order brought in. I think of Jelly Bean and Julia's.
There you go.
They treated me so well. Did I tell you that they treated me so well this past weekend?
No, you didn't.
I didn't.
How'd they treat you?
By gosh. Oh, by the way, I have to thank the listener who went into Jelly Bean and Julia's over the last week or two and said that they heard about Jelly Bean and Julia's on the show. I apologize for the fact that they didn't have Dr. Pepper sauce. They went in looking for we had talked up the Dr. Pepper sauce.
Yeah.
And then they went in for Dr. Pepper sauce and there was none made. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. The Dr. Pepper sauce, by the way, is not like it's not like a regular sauce on the menu.
No, he makes it for you, doesn't he?
Well, he makes it he makes it for everybody, but it's
right.
It's kind of a hit or miss thing. I mean, it's not on the menu all the time.
Yeah.
So, and the root beer sauce I've been talking about isn't a regular thing.
Okay.
Although they do use it in the barbecue beans.
Okay.
So, but yeah, oh my God. And I went in, I was hoping he had some root beer sauce last weekend. And so, Corey's daughter, who works at the restaurant, who is the sweetest gal in the world. She's like, I'm going to get you some root beer sauce. I know there's some back there. So she went back to get the root beer sauce and she yells at Corey, hey, hey Dad, where's the root beer sauce? He goes, oh, he used it in the barbecue beans. And she's like, oh, he used it in the barbecue beans. And I'm like, that's okay. So I got the apple bourbon, which is on the menu all the time.
Yeah.
But I was a little disappointed. But so he was so happy that, and I don't think Corey gets a lot of people who, I know the rest of the staff get people who come in and say they hear about the show or they hear about Jelly Bean and Julia on the show. So they're used to it. They're used to people coming in and saying, hey, I heard about you on Darkness Radio and I'm here to try the food. Corey is not.
So he finally got to hear it though, huh?
Yeah, he got to hear that. Oh, hey, I heard about you on Darkness Radio. I want to try the food. I want to try the brisket. I want to try the ribs. I got to try these double brined wings I've been hearing about. I hear you're the wing king. So he finally heard about it. And
that's awesome.
He was bowled over. So he was just, oh my gosh. So he was tickled pink. So if you go into Jelly Bean and Julia's in Anoka, Minnesota, tell them you heard about Jelly Bean and Julia's on Darkness Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if he'll give you a discount.
I think I'm gonna get some barbecue this weekend too over at Hillbillies.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that kind of weekend, you got
it is.
You got football on the tube last week of regular season football. Maybe
some good barbecue in the belly.
That's right. Some good barbecue in the belly. Just enjoy life a little bit. Listen to the shows. Yeah. Listen to some archives. We've got, gosh, what do we got going on this weekend? It's one of those weekends, we got snow falling. It's the first full weekend in January. Man, winter is settling in.
Yeah.
It's just one of those
Yeah, it's so brutal down here. 67 degrees.
Geez, you keep rubbing that in, don't you? But yeah, and it's just one of those things where, I always remind people to, take care of yourself, take care of each other. We're getting to the time of year where, we're past the holidays and people think, well, we've given enough,
Yeah.
Kind of give till it hurts. If you see somebody out there that needs something, cold weather is setting in, except for you, Mr. 67 degrees. But, people may need a coat. They may need a blanket. They may need gloves. They may need something.
Just be a kind, generous human.
Yeah.
Be kind to one another.
Yeah. Give a smile, give a hug, give whatever somebody needs right now. Cause it's one of those things where people are still going through trials and tribulations, and especially at the beginning of a year.
Yeah.
People are going through.
And you don't know what other people are going through.
Yeah. There's some winter doldrums out there. So just this weekend, be kind of extra sensitive and give some extra care to some people who may need it.
Yeah. And a kind word goes a long way.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So just do it for your buddies here at Darkness Radio. That's all we ask. Tomorrow on the show, Richard Estep is with us. We're going to be talking about haunted jails.
Ooh.
Yeah, we get that coming up. Kind of an extra special jail haunted paranormal type weekend. I'm going to throw you into some haunted stuff this weekend. So that's what's going on tomorrow here on Darkness Radio. For Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for listening to us today. We want to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring the program. Remember, if you are going to take advantage of the special, do it right now. Go to HelloFresh.com/darkness21. Use darkness21 at checkout and get 21 free meals plus free shipping.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, such good food over there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And take advantage of the special. It's America's #1 meal kit. You got to try it. If you haven't tried it, you got to try it. Get yourself in shape for the new year. Good food over there. You want to give it a try if you haven't tried it already. Save yourself some money in the meantime and avoid the grocery store. Why go out?
Avoid people.
Yeah, avoid people as we're telling you to help them out. Just avoid the hassle of the grocery store and some of the high prices of the grocery store. Save 25% over takeout. Try HelloFresh. Give it a try this weekend. HelloFresh.com/darkness21. Use the code darkness21. 21 free meals plus free shipping. Do it today. We'll see you again tomorrow, folks, for the best in paranormal podcasting. For Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you for tuning in to Darkness Radio.